Good afternoon, Thriving Therapist. How are you? It's so great to be back here. I just wanted to dive in and tell you a little bit about my best tips on how to build an online course. So, a couple days ago, I think it was this week, I asked on our Thriving Therapist page if you could build additional streams of income, what would you like to start with first? And a lot of you said that you'd like to learn how to build an online course, which is a wonderful way to generate passive income once you do the active work in the beginning of getting it all set up. But it doesn't have to be hard and it doesn't have to be scary, and I'm going to walk you through a little short outline today on how to do it and how to get started. So during the pandemic, I actually did this myself. I built a course for this community on how to build a thriving practice. I launched it twice, and then I did a flash sale for Black Friday, and the first two launches in the spring and the fall generated over five figures for each one. So it's a wonderful way for you to definitely create some passive income for yourself, especially if you're filling a gap in the market. So let's start talking about how to do this. Number one, when you get going on deciding that you're going to build a course, is you have to really understand what is it that you can teach. So I have asked this question on our page before. I have asked people to identify if you were going to, for example, talk about a subject that you know very well for about an hour right now without any preparation, what would that subject be? That will help you understand what you could easily teach a course in because you already have some sense of knowledge and expertise in that area. So think that over. I really want to know, what would you be able to teach a course on? That's going to help guide you in building your online course because you have to have some sense of expertise or authority in a subject matter in order to do this effectively and in order to be successful selling your course. The second step, of course, is understanding who is your audience. So you really want to know, who am I going to be offering this online course to? Is it going to be to my current client population? Is there a general need in my client population right now that could benefit from some type of information that I feel like I have an expertise in? If I were building a course for my client population right now, it would probably be all about how to improve our self-care and how to practice mindfulness for a better quality of life. So that off the top of my head would be the course subject that I would be teaching. So I'm sure if you think about your client population, you probably are already thinking about the area of expertise that you have with the clients that you serve, and you could be thinking about, what is it that I could be offering this client population? What is an area of knowledge that I think could be delivered in an online course that would be of high value to my clients? Now, I built my course not for my clients, obviously, but for a therapist population. So you could be doing a train the trainer type of course where maybe you have an expertise in a certain area of being a therapist or a certain kind of technique. Maybe you're into hypnotherapy, or you're into mental health and nutrition, or you're into using breath work or yoga for mental health support. Maybe you want to build a course around integrative or complementary therapies and mental health treatments for other therapists to use. Maybe you're an art therapist and you want to invite other therapists to learn more about art interventions. So there's endless opportunities for you to think about how you can creatively create and build your course. But I just want you to get very clear on what it is that you would be offering and who you're offering it to. I've done a lot of coaching with therapists from this community. And recently I talked to a therapist who said they wanted to build a course for parents of the clients that they work with. They work with child and adolescent population, and they wanted to build a course for the parents. So if the parents were interested in strengthening their parenting skills or their parent-child relationships, this therapist was thinking about crafting a beautiful course offering that could be done in the privacy of their own home, where they don't have to connect with other people, so it can protect their confidentiality, and they can download the information and watch it from their couch. So there's a lot of advantages to offering online courses rather than something interactive in a face-to-face group, for example. The next step in designing your online course is, and I see a few of you are joining me live here today, so go ahead and let me know if you've ever thought about building an online course. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. If this is rather new to you, if this is something that you've already done, I'd love to hear what you've done. But I feel like we always gain so much from sharing in this community, so feel free to drop a comment in there. And if you're catching this on the replay, just put hashtag replay in the comments and I'll come back and answer any questions you have. So step 3 would be, how do these potential clients or customers or students find you and find your course? So are you going to build a platform so that these people can find you like I did when I built the Thriving Therapist Facebook community? I wasn't exactly sure when I built this what you guys needed most from me. So I started to ask questions and post polls, and I asked you actually when you joined this page in the membership questions, what do you need the most? So I was trying to gather data and research on what would be the best thing to offer this community. Where is the gap in their knowledge? And many of you said, I'd like to build a private practice, but I just don't know how to start. And so when I got that data and information, I thought, okay, I have 20 years experience being a thriving therapist myself in private practice, and I can certainly teach others how to do it. And I started thinking about how to go about that. We've got a comment here that says, yes, I've thought about it. However, I have no structured plan. All right, well, you're in the right place, Erica, because I'm going to teach you a little bit more as we go through this plan today on how to build a course and what to start with first. So again, first you're going to think about what you're teaching. Your second step is, who's your audience? The third step is, how will they find you? Is it your client population? Is it a platform that you have yet to build on a Facebook group, for example? That's a whole nother lesson that I can teach you guys more about, how to build a very successful group on Facebook, or one that is highly engaged like ours, which is so wonderful. I love all the community support in our page. The next step is really thinking about the outline for your course. So I took a wonderful training from a really well-known guy his name is Stu McLaren, and he runs a membership site called Tribe, and he taught us how to run membership sites through his program called Tribe. And in the program, he talked about formulating what he calls the success path. The success path is really a wonderful way for you to think about where your student is today and where do they want to be by the end of your course. And in the middle, what are the steps that get them there? And so that helped me a lot, because I was thinking, I have a lot of people who were interested in building a thriving practice, but they had no idea where to begin. And then I know that by the end of my course, they wanted to feel very successfully prepared to market themselves, to set themselves up legally, to get all the right paperwork in order, to know how to build their referral network, and to ultimately know how to prevent burnout and increase self-care so that they could thrive as a therapist. So those were kind of my 5 modules, if you will. When I built my course, I kind of laid it out that way. Now, Stu always recommends, when he was teaching us, that we never want more than like 3 to 5 modules. The most common problem when you look at online course success is that the ones that succeed are the ones that are very easy to digest. That means they're very short, they're term limited. I tell my people that they can learn all the things in my course in 5 weeks or less. So it tells them the timeline, how long it will take them to do this course, and it also gives them the information in little tiny bite-sized pieces. So I don't know about you guys, but I have purchased courses before that I've never even finished because it felt like so much information. I was in information overload. I remember taking a course one time and I got like into the first module and I thought, this is like a master's degree. I can't do this. It's too much information. So that's why I thought with my course, I wanted it to be very easy, very small, bite-sized pieces. And when you build a course, you should consider that too. When I went through and started recording my video content, which I did on Zoom, which was super easy because we're so used to using online stuff for telehealth right now, that you're pretty used to being in front of a screen and a camera already. So that's a plus. And I used Zoom for mine, and I just shared my screen and I opened opened up the documents that I had pre-designed. They're just PDFs that I made. You can make them beautiful in Canva, or you can just make Google Docs. It's okay. And I put all the content for all the modules into some online documents. And when I got into Zoom, I just recorded my course. I opened up the documents. I shared my screen with my students. I just recorded each section in tiny little video segments. I don't think there was a single video segment in all the modules that I recorded that was more than 10 minutes long. Now, some modules had multiple videos in them because they covered multiple topics, but I like the idea that it was really short, bite-sized pieces so that they could make progress quickly and come back to it later and follow through the documents that I gave them, the workbooks, the worksheets, the checklist. It helps your student move through your material. And ultimately, your goal as an online instructor for an online course is to make sure that your students finish your course. You want them to get results, because those students then will be able to say, this course really helped me, and you'll have great testimonials that you'll be able to share when you're trying to sell your course again. So the key is really to think about making small bite-sized pieces of information so you don't overwhelm your user or your student. So I recorded everything, like I said, on Zoom. I downloaded my video lessons off of Zoom, and then I uploaded everything to a platform called Podia. And I can put a link in the comments if you guys want to check out my affiliate link with Podia. There's a lot of different hosting sites for courses and memberships. Kajabi is wonderful. Podia was very easy to learn. I liked it because it was so simple. It was literally you just drag and drop your content right into the modules, and you build a little sales page on there, and you can open your course for sale, or you could close it when you don't want it for sale, and it stores all your students' emails in there. And what I also love about it is I could see my students' progress. So I could tell if a student hadn't started the material yet, or if they blew through it really fast. I could tell that too. So you can determine whether or not you want your course to be what's called drip content, and that might mean that each week you release another segment of your course so that they have to go through the course at a certain pace. Or like me, I just gave them all the access to the content all at once, and they have lifetime access to the material. So if they, needed to start the program later, they could do it later. Or if they did it right away, they could always come back and review it anytime they wanted to. Inside Podia, there's a space to upload not only your Zoom videos or any way that you're downloading or uploading your video content for your course that you're teaching, but you can also upload files, documents, images, charts, and graphs and things like that. So it was very simple to put everything that I needed into Podia, and it was very simple to build a sales and marketing page based on what I knew my students were asking for. And once you do a first beta run on your first online course, you'll have enough information to recognize whether or not you need to make any changes to your material. Now, one step that I forgot to mention is before you start thinking about your course content, I want you to do a brain dump. And I want you to literally take every single color Post-it note that you have. I've got thousands of these. I know, it's terrible. I try to recycle them when I use them. But I do have a ton of Post-its. And I always write down every single piece of content that I can possibly think of that would be of high value to my students in my course. And then I plaster them all over a wall. And then I create these big headers, like Module 1 will be this, Module 2 is this. And you're thinking again about your success path of taking people from where they are now to where they want to be. And I just literally moved my Post-its all over the walls until it made a lot of sense to put this piece of content under this header and this piece of content under this header. And then what I did was take all those Post-its and put them together into the documents that I was going to use as the workbooks for each module. It wrote itself. It was so easy. And then when I was teaching the course, I used the documents as my outline. So I just was reading through kind of the outline where I had them answer questions, and I had them do checklists, and I had them go through different things. And of course, I opened up lots of screens and I showed them all of the information about marketing and referrals and all of that. And it was super comprehensive. The students that have taken it have said they really loved the course material, and I didn't need to make any changes after the first time I ran it. So I think this is a very good way of laying out all the material. Beth is joining us and says you'd like to learn more about this. I hope that you can go back and catch the whole video, Beth, because it'll live on this page. It's always under our units tab too. And I don't know if you guys all know, but I do have a YouTube page as well where we're putting all of the weekly Facebook Lives. I do these every week on how to build and grow a thriving practice, and lots of different tips in here every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. And we always download these videos and we put them on the Thriving Well Institute YouTube channel. So you can always go back and look at all of those there as well. So if you guys have other questions for me, please feel free to drop them in the comments. I'd be happy to answer them for you. But I just want to reiterate, it is not that hard to do this. You have to keep it very simple for yourself and for your students, but you have a wonderful opportunity in front of you as a therapist right now to serve a larger audience, scale your business, make more income, and have a bigger reach in your audience. So feel free to ask me any other questions you guys might have, and I'd be happy to answer. If I wasn't clear with any of this, please feel free. And I will also put a link to the Podia affiliate link in there. You can try that site out to see if that's a place you'd like to host your course. All right, you guys, keep thriving, and I will talk to you again very soon. Bye-bye.